Don't you hate it when your teammates run up to the gen you're working on and continually fail skill checks? Like, dude, you aren't helping. Just go do something else, please. Well, it's time to get your revenge. Kind of. Today we're going to be figuring out how to remove the most progress possible from an action in a single failed skill check. Let's establish base rates. When failing a generator or healing skill check, that action will lose 10% of its maximum progress, or 8 charges in the case of generators and 1.6 charges in the case of healing. So how can we change this? Well, let's look at perks. Hex Huntress Lullaby applies an additional 6% regression penalty on failed skill checks for repairing and healing. Overcharge causes an additional progression loss of 5% on any generator it's applied to. That's all we can do from a killer standpoint. Survivors, meanwhile, can take Technician, which is the absolute goat of messing up generators. Each failed skill check applies the default penalty plus an additional penalty of 3%. It's worth noting here that at tier 1, that's actually 5%, but I'm trying to will the removal of perk tiers into the universe, so I always ignore tiers other than 3 as a rule on this channel. Killer add-ons can also affect regression rates. Freddy's green dress and blue dress both increase the regression penalty of failing skill checks by 4%. By the way, it's always bothered me that green dress is a yellow background and blue dress is a green background. It wouldn't make any sense for it to be any different, but my monkey brain gets confused. So before we round up, it's worth noting that other actions that have skill checks, just snapping out of madness or sealing Demodog's portals, aren't affected by these perks and add-ons, so that's why they aren't being mentioned here. Right, so to reiterate, the base regression penalty for failing a skill check is 10%. Hex Huntress Lullaby adds 6% onto this. Green dress adds 4%, and blue dress adds another 4%. For healing, that's our total, which is a whopping 24% of the bar for a failed skill check. Generators have this 24%, but in addition, Overcharge for an additional 5% and Technician for an additional 3%, totaling 32%. That's 25.6 charges, and Survivors repair generators solo at 1 charge per second. So in this instance, failing a single skill check would send you back almost 30 seconds. 2 skill checks, that's a whole minute. 3 skill checks, that's almost an entire generator. Let's take a look. So there you have it, the meanest skill check regression penalties possible. Killers, survivors, no doubt you'll coordinate on this and come after me in solo queue games. I can't wait. Today's Q&A question comes from Anubav Badoria. There's no way that's right. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, man. They ask, do you find it annoying having to do fastest/slowest vids again due to the new update making the older video irrelevant? I mean, kind of, but it's easy content. One of the hardest parts of this job is figuring out what to do next, and the release of something like Hex Pentimento puts that on autopilot. My style is constantly evolving too, and it's cool to get to go back and redo videos that perhaps had some audio or visual issues and bring them up to current standards. It is annoying when people comment on older videos, this is out of date, and at some point I ought to go through the old ones and pin a comment pointing to the new one, but nah, I enjoy it overall. A big thank you to my £8 and up patrons, Mr. Leaster, Channel Manager, Chipstar878, and Godfather Bobby. If you want early and ad-free access to videos and to get spammed about my plans for future content while supporting the channel, you can chuck me a couple of quid on there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.